start. I'm Maher Jarrar, CS teacher, but I'm not giving to one. I'll be introducing the course for all of us. So this is an introductory lecture to CVSP 201, which is the first course in what used to be a sequence. As you notice, the first page on the handout reminds you of the CVSP requirements and how to choose your two required courses. I'm not going to read it. Should you have further questions, please discuss it in class the first 5 minutes in your sessions if you want. Or ask the secretary or the chairperson at the CVSP department. This is important for you to know what are the courses you are supposed to attend, what are the credits, and these are the humanities. At least 2 courses, and 6 credits of the humanities credits you are supposed to take. Now CS is a program about great books. Yeah, great books are all kinds of books from all kinds of cultures and all kinds of languages. But we're at the American University of Beirut, so we read in English. These are books central to the education of any cultivated person, and they are written by authors that really shape these texts, shape the thinking of millions of people throughout the ages around the globe. And they opened the way for the message, and I would underline it, the message of tolerance. To know the other culture, and to think about the other and her culture in the context of a specific time and of a specific culture. These texts have influenced great minds, as I said, and shaped cultural heritages, either universally or in a specific cultural milieu. In a sense, they formed a vital part of the public consciousness of many societies till our present day. Accordingly, these texts speak to our reality in the 21st century, even if we're reading them now here in Lebanon, in Ras Beirut in the year 2015. So what do we do in CS courses? Basically, we read and discuss. So we read together, or we read at home first, and then we try to discuss these texts in class together. Our role as instructors is that of a midwife who facilitates the communication process with the text and helps in the birth of ideas on your part throughout the discussions and argumentations in class. So I suppose that we've read the text, or we have a taste of the text before coming to class. The first session we meet, then you hear a general lecture after the weekend, which introduces you as well. And then in class we want to discuss these ideas, read specific sections together, and try to find out what are the basic ideas. Now, how to read? First, let us keep in mind that our readings are of limited range, something like between 20 and 30 pages per week, which is not much, not at all, by the way. It is doable, it's manageable, and we can read it. Now, in order to enjoy the great texts we are reading and to make of our reading experience a productive and interactive activity, I suggest, I've just said, that we have a look, just a taste of the text before coming to the Monday lecture. This would help us have a kind of foretaste. The lectures are meant to introduce, the lectures like the one I'm giving now, are meant to introduce the text, put it a little bit in the context, situate it in its cultural and intellectual milieu, address the main ideas in the text, and raise questions about the significance of the text. We should be able to hear and concentrate for the interval of 40 minutes, the interval of the lecture, if we want to go through this exercise. By the way, the lecture is an exercise. It's part of your exercise at AUB, at any university level, in any university in the world, by the way, okay? The lecture is a component. We should be able to concentrate, sometimes take notes, okay? Register the basic ideas of the lecture as part of our training, okay? I always give the example now when you finish and you go to work and your boss asks you, please go for this conference, attend this conference for me, just 2 hours before the end of the work. You're not prepared, come back and brief me on this, okay? You should be able to go concentrate and give a report, briefing about what I've attended, or else يعطيك العافية, you'll lose your job. And you know, hundreds of people are waiting for the job that you have just lost because you can't concentrate for 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, take some notes and brief them, communicate them to a colleague, a friend, a boss, okay? So the lecture is essential in preparing you for the course, which is reading, hearing, communicating, discussing, okay, and creating ideas, generating ideas from the text that we are reading and discussing together. Some of you might say, but why am I supposed to go through all this if I'm studying business administration, say, or economics, or engineering, or medicine, although now I guess we rarely have business students, or who's doing business now here in the hall? 3, 4. Were you advised to attend the course, or was it your choice? Your choice? Okay. Excuse me? Is it hard to do, you say? It's a requirement. It's not a requirement for business, is it? Yeah, okay. We used to have, you know, all business students used to come and attend this course, and they always find it very interesting and useful. Interesting and useful for their studies and for, you know, their communication skills and all other skills that they use in life. Same applies to engineering. Now, medicine, yes, we do have pre-meds, I think, biology students and chemistry students. So not every course is directly, you know, we get the utility out of the course. And we can't see, you know, utility always in all what you're doing, okay? It builds. It builds. Of course, we come to university in order to make use of all these skills that we are doing. CS is about skills, about reading skills, learning new vocabulary, and as I said, being introduced to different, various cultures, thinking about other cultures, and the aspect of tolerance that I've raised at a certain point. What we offer is an exercise in how to read, discuss, express our minds orally and in writing, and learn new cultural vocabulary. Vocabulary that pertains to cultural aspects, okay, to civilizations, to cultures, to thought. Because we're not only reading texts which are narrative texts. Yeah, we're going to read, as I'm now going to introduce in a while, epic, theater, tragic, poetry, but again, philosophy, again, literature, all kinds of literature. So various different texts from different genres. يعني أصناف أدبية. أصناف is a genre. So to learn cultural vocabulary effectively, we also undertake with these books a journey. We always repeat it, by the way, life is a journey, and the university is a journey. It's part of a journey. It's an initiation, right, if you want, okay? We learn new things. We are trained to learn new things, to mature together with other people in these new things that we learn, in order to be able to go to society, live a healthy and good moral life, okay? So it is a journey. Reading here is a journey. Yani we're going through the journey of CVSP. 1 or 2 courses are more than enough. We used to do, you know, a long 4 courses, which is fine. But doing one or two is not bad at all. Each and every course is a journey in itself through the readings that we are doing and the maturity that we are going through. So we'll be dealing, as I've said, with different genres or types of texts from various epochs and cultures, from the ancient and classical world. Ancient, يعني going back to Mesopotamian, Babylonian, okay, and earlier, then to Greek, then to medieval European, Arabic, Islamic, and then we move to the 16th century, Enlightenment, modern age, even from the 20th century, we are reading some texts in different genres, as I said. I'm quoting a quote from, I think, Martha Nussbaum. She says, quote, "The ability to imagine the experience of another person, a capacity almost all human beings possess in some form, needs to be greatly enhanced and refined if we are to have any hope if situating decent institutions across the many divisions that any modern society contains." Yes, this is Martha Nussbaum. So the faculty, this exercise that we're doing. I've said skills, yes, skills, vocabulary, indeed. A way to thinking, yes, indeed, three things. It is a journey, fine, it is a journey, definitely. But all these things are very essential to a university and to our modern life, to our understanding of ourselves as human beings living in the world, okay, in our society and in the global society. As you notice, the PowerPoint tries to pinpoint, underline some basic ideas, okay, why do we read, how do we read, and now I've reached slide 5. Let's start with the text we are reading, okay? In 201, we do, as I said, we start with the Mesopotamian culture. This is Mesopotamian, the land between the two rivers. This is Tigris and Furat, Dijla and Al-Furat, one of the most ancient cultures, civilizations, by the way, that we know of. It's earlier than the Greek culture, some 1,000 years earlier than the Greek culture. So the first text we are reading from this area between Sumer, down there at the Gulf, Persian Gulf, up there Babylon and Assyria. Yani stretching around from Basra today until the Turkish-Armenian border in the north, okay? We have 3 civilizations that stretched over thousands of years, and we are reading one text from there. This is the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest, and I'm underlying the oldest written epic that we have as humanity. And when I say we, not we here in the Middle East or at the American University of Beirut, it is the oldest written culture epic that we have. Now, what do we mean by epic and why is it the oldest? Okay, this is from the 3rd millennium before our Common Era, something like 3,000 years, by the way. The written form is 3,000 years. The oral transmission of the epic, okay, from one culture to the other culture, by the way, from one language to the other language, is even older. Yani we can go, if we only say 3,000 years before our Common Era, we go back to 5,000 years. If we take into consideration the oral tradition, yani the period of oral tradition, we go back further than 5,000 years. Now this was discovered on plates, fakhar, clay plates, and they are written in kunai form. We're going to see this in a minute, okay? These are the clays, and this is the tool down there. Inscriptions on, they found this, one of the oldest letters, by the way, that we know of in humanity. So this is why we call it kunai form, and it's clay plates, and then these are put in an oven. So what is an epic? And I said we're going to read the epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is the name of the hero. What is an epic? We have it up there. An epic is a sublime authoritative narrative which went through a long period of oral tradition before it was written down in poetry usually, okay? Why authoritative, by the way? Whose authority? Whose authority? Why is it authoritative? Ali. Many people, the people itself, Mazmoud, the society. So from generation to generation, through all things, through oral tradition, it becomes authoritative within that particular specific culture. Sometimes it's authoritative because people believe this is their deity or one of their deities, okay, is addressing them directly. The author of an epic poem is unknown. Most probably, it is a culminative, again, the community, okay, over generations, work of many authors over a long period of time. And we say Epic of Gilgamesh, who's written it down, we don't know, okay? So it's an oral tradition. At some point comes a scriber and inscribes it today on the computer, at that time with... it is a narrative poem that narrates. It's a poem, but narrates. This is why it's narrative poem. Okay, شعر سردي, if you want. It narrates the deeds, works, and adventures of a heroic or legendary figure and reflects a heroic ethos. Okay, this hero that we are narrating about, that the epic is narrating about, represents, again, a figure from within the people. Okay. Why a hero? Now we'll see. The events and the heroic deed must have a significance to the audience. You can't tell me about a hero where I don't have any connection with this hero, okay? Mental, emotional, cultural connection. You can't be my hero. So a hero should represent the deeds, the emotions, the history, the reflection of the future of that community. An epic is apt to condense long-drawn tensions into brief senses of dramatic power enhanced by visual magnificence that we call dramatic moments. Yani, we're reading the epic of Gilgamesh, by the way. It's something like 30 pages. It's a small booklet. The booklet is 60 pages, 90 pages. 30 pages are introduction, of the modern editor. The text itself is something like 30 pages. Don't take my word, 30, 40 pages, okay? A5, small text like this, okay? So we say the epic, this epic represents, as I was saying, emotions and people and tradition and gender figures and heroic, yes, indeed, through flashback, flash forward, and through condensation of time. Yani, if I read the epic, close my mind and just my eyes and just think, what was I reading? I can think of 4, 5, 6 tragic moments, great moments that made shifts within the epic, okay? So this is the idea of the epic. You are going to discuss it in class, I'm sure. Epics are mythical in the sense that a myth is, this is from the dictionary, by the way, like the first one, most of them are from the dictionary. When I give a quotation, I name the quotation, okay? This is always good so as not to plagiarize. So I mentioned Nussbaum, I'm going to mention other names. Basically, these are from encyclopedias on the website, okay? So a traditional, this is a myth, or legendary story, usually concerning some being or hero or event with or without a determinable basis of fact or a natural explanation, especially one that is concerned with deities or demigods and explains some practice, rite, or phenomenon of nature. In this sense, I perceive many stories that are mentioned in the Bible, in the Quran, and other books as legends and myths, not at all in a negative sense. Okay? Not at all in a negative sense, in this literary sense that I'm alluding to here. I stopped reading, but let's... is it fine with you? Huh? Are you following? Please just stop me if you need any question, or if you want to comment, raise your hand and stop me. We have a microphone here, by the way. We can move it around. So slide 9, I think, polytheism, yes. All the cultures that we are dealing with in this CVSP 201 are mythical, are polytheistic culture, okay? Theo is the Greek word for the deity. Deity يعني al-ilah, okay? Not Allah, not Jesus and not Allah, okay? The deity are the gods for in specific cultures, okay? This is Theo. Now, polytheist, poly is more than one, okay? Polytheists then are cultures, are societies that believe in more than one God, okay? So usually we have a pyramid of gods, or we have gods sitting on a round table, if you want, and they govern from or sitting on Mount Olymp, separated from the world, okay? So this is point 5 on your fly sheets. The 3 cultures that we will be introduced to are polytheistic. Polytheism is the belief in many gods, a hierarchical pantheon of gods, each representing a cosmic phenomenon and a defined sphere of influence. So we have the god of weather, we have the god of the oceans, we have the gods of thunder, we have the gods of nature, we have what have you, all kinds of gods. Polytheistic cultures also include belief in many demonic and ghostly forces and some malevolent supernatural beings. By the way, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, to mention only 3 cultures, if you want, also, and religions also believe in demonic and ghostly forces. The gods interfere in human affairs and intermarry with them in polytheistic cultures. And we find a god or a demigod marrying or kidnapping and marrying, if you want, a pretty young woman and getting offsprings from her. The balanced worshipper in this culture, if I want to be balanced as a worshipper, كعابد يعني, I need to pay respect to all of them. You can't pick and choose. I might have preference to a certain God, okay? But in order to يعني pay attention. According to them, they pay attention, and these gods are wrathful. Okay? So this is very quickly what is polytheistic. So we're reading before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Okay? We're reading texts from ancient cultures. Now, who is a hero? Heroes are God-like. Superman. Okay? God-like persons with many dignified traits. They're handsome, definitely, in appearance, and have strengths. Heroes are subjected to the harshness of their fate, their lot, we say, okay? And are shaped by obstacles on their journeys. Often, these figures began with voyages full of recklessness and selfishness. Recklessness when you pay less attention or no attention at all to other human beings. You do what you want. I want this girl, I get this girl, okay? You're a king, you're powerful, you have, all your power, and so you're reckless. You pay no attention to the others' interests, other people's feelings, other people, you just, with power, you do everything, and you're selfish. Mostly these figures start their voyages as indifferent, reckless, or selfish. Not necessarily all, as we're going to see. Yet, at the end, through the journey, if the journey, as I was telling you, an initiation process, yani a process through which we learn, okay? And at the end of which we pass many tests and we change. We grow up in a society, then they change, and through the obstacles and difficulties, they are created anew. And these are 2 of the heroes we are going to encounter. Gilgamesh and Odysseus. These are from old, over there it's from old pot, I think, Greek pot, and this is from Babylonian. So there is a journey, there is an initiation rite, and there is a change in character, maturity, integration, to be integral, morally as well as culturally with your community. A hero accepts challenges and stands up to them. He fights against monsters and demons. He makes unnecessary risks and discovers frightful and unknown lands and mysteries. We're going to see both heroes going to go on a trip, a journey to the underground, a journey to the realm of the dead. This is all symbolic. Indeed, it's a nice narrative, it's a nice poetic poem. You can change it easily in a film, by the way, which is very interesting, much more interesting, I think, than any modern Hollywood film, with the ideas, the characters, the narration, what have you, okay? These are really very interesting if we think about them, but they're symbolic like any narrative. Any narrative, and I also claim at some points religious narratives are symbolic. They make us think. So don't take all what you're reading at face value, okay? A journey to the underground, a journey to the land of the death might have different meanings to that culture. We can't know what these meanings were. We can think about them. We can think, how would we see them today? How would we perceive today a journey to the underground? Time is running out. I'm only trying to introduce the readings that we will be doing. Again, stop me whenever you want. Now, what I was mentioning all the time, rite of passage, and rite of passage again and again and again. Rites of passage have 3 phases, okay? A rite of passage, just to think about it very quickly, if you want to give an example, would be your life now at university is a rite of passage. Yeah, and you finished the high school stage, okay? You made a big feast when you finished your baccalaureate or freshman or what have you. You spent a nice summer, and now you're entering to a new phase. This phase has responsibilities for you. You attend courses, you do exams, you fail an exam, and you are being trained. And after each year, after each semester, you go through a certain exam. When you finish the 3 years, you have finished 3 years training to go into real life. Is university not real life? It's part of life, definitely. It's part of our maturation, okay? But so we finished an initiation rite. 3 things make an initiation rite. First, separation. Yeah, and you separate from a basic form. It's separation from high school. It's separation from home as well. Now you're being more responsible. Now you're looking for a girlfriend, you're looking for a boyfriend, you're not anymore so much, caring for what your parents say. You are starting something new. So it is first a separation. It is liminality. And I'll explain what liminality is. And a threshold. Ataba. I'm crossing a threshold. Okay? I cross a threshold into a no man's zone, in a sense. It's liminal. I'm not inside, I'm not outside. I'm still not a full member of society, okay? But I'm not anymore a high school. Mama and daddy, and you might still be mama and daddy, I don't know. Most of our young men today need more time to mature than the brilliant girls we have. Just joking, huh? You don't need to laugh. So it's a liminal stage. A liminal stage in the sense, I'm expecting change, I'm undergoing change, I don't know what will the outcome be. I might drop from the 2nd semester and say, push, I don't like university, I'm going to do something else, which is very fine, I think. Why should all of us end up with university and sit with, there's no market, there's no work in the market, okay? Sometimes it's much cleverer to have all these kind of training schools for different things, okay? So you might think, I'll drop, I don't want university, I'll do something else. You might continue, but you can't go through. Or you might, all these possibilities, by the way, make it liminal. يعني open, unclear, open to question. And the third, like in a separation, liminality, which is a threshold of ambiguity and disorientation And finally, reincorporation and assimilation in the society again as a new, mature human being who is now integrating in the society. I have reached point 3 on your fly sheets. Now, basic to Gilgamesh, how we mentioned, and we have 2 epics. The Epic of Gilgamesh, this is the rite of passage, by the way, and it's from the Wikipedia. Yani, just check the word, rite of passage, the idea of liminality. We use, this is a theory, this is complicated theory in social studies, by the way, okay? We have many theorists working on this theory of liminality. In anthropology, in sociology, we use it in literature, we use it in theater as well, okay? So just have a look if you want, or you can discuss it in class. Now, one of the first epic we are reading is the Epic of Gilgamesh. Greece, we don't want Greece. In the course of the epic that we're reading, we witness the transformation of Gilgamesh's heroic indifference to death into an all-consuming knowledge of his mortality and dread of death. معناتها one of the basic themes in this epic, friendship is a theme, love is a theme, okay? Respect to the cultural milieu, to the gods is definitely another theme. The theme of journey, we have 3-4 journeys, fascinating by the way. But one of the basic themes as well, if I'm going to add to friendship, to culture, the meaning of culture, living in a culture, one of the basic meanings is death. Why do we die as human beings, by the way? This is the basic religious and philosophical question for us human beings. We die. You're still young now to think about death, but death is around us everywhere, everywhere. Not only with Daesh, with the hate that we carry in ourselves towards you and towards her without knowing you, just because you are other than I. Death is there. With a car accident, 7,000 people every year, young men and women, die on the streets of Lebanon. أو بالنسبة لي فينا نموت كمان. Death is there. The question is why? Okay, so this is one of the basic questions that the Epic of Gilgamesh is trying to address. Please read it and discuss this in class. Now, Gilgamesh struggles with the horror of his own mortality. Mortality is against, being immortal. Mortality is the fact that we die, as opposed to that gods don't die. Okay? We die without knowing when and why. It might be for very simple reason. Okay? So this is one of the main things. Dreams play a crucial role in the epic. These symbolic dreams preserve an omen or a ritual, and mainly a communication dreams, we call them. And I was talking that, in 45 pages I read about the epic. Dreams بعجلوا. يعني they called frequency dreams as well, okay? They give a flashback, a flash forward, and they give they span time. Prepare me to what's going to happen. It's communication between God and the human beings. Same things are the dreams in the religious books of Hebrew Christians and Muslims. So these are all symbolic. Inner changes in Gilgamesh mostly take place precisely in the context of confrontation and distant travel. So this travel is figurative as well. I'm not going to stop a lot at all these things. Then we move to another epic, which is Odysseus. We move to another culture. We were in Mesopotamia, now we are moving to the ancient Greece, okay? This is the Mediterranean. It's not anymore the land between two rivers. It's the land between the islands and the open sea, okay? So we see that we're going to notice that the mentality is changing a little bit, okay? The atmosphere is more airy, if you want, okay? And now this is around 800 BC, around. I'm saying around, and we don't know who's the author. Even if we say Homer has written, Homer, I don't know, okay? Homer is a singer of tales. If there is a real Homer, I don't know. But even if Homer has written this down, he's written down oral tradition that went through at least 400 or 500 years before he was gathering all these details, narratives, oral narratives, and writing them down. Okay, Odysseus now is the hero, again another hero who is a seafarer. He goes on journey on the sea. Why the journey we'll see? Before, in the background of the epic, there is a devastating war, the Trojan War. Okay, all wars start in epics and in the narratives that we create now. And when there's a woman who was raped or kidnapped or whatever, and people got crazy, and millions of people died. We always blame women. Sorry for that. This is in history as well, narratives, okay? In the background, there is a devastating war. Odysseus was a hero during the war. He's one of the survivors of the war. And he starts a new journey now, a nostos, N-O-S-T-O-S. In Greek, means returning back home. A journey back home. Nostalgia, by the way, comes from the word nostos as well. So he's doing a nostos, but he never reaches home. Instead of taking him 2 months, it takes him 20 years to reach home. Why? Obstacles. We said hero is always confronting obstacles, gods, hatred, anger, all kinds of demons, but all this is symbolic. He is again in the liminal stage. This is a liminal stage. Being thrown in an open ocean, never reaching home. Whenever you think, I'm going to reach home, something stops you. As if you're dreaming, وبصير معك كابوس بالليل كل شوي, you wake up and you notice that. And then you try to dream again, and then it's nice, and and then you wake up. It's horror. Liminal, ambiguous, not horror, ambiguous, more than horror, okay? So again, another story, which we call it the Nostos, the homecoming. Now we have the human being as there as well. Like in Gilgamesh, the human being is in the center of the epic. The epic is talking about gods and skies and underground and death and what have you. But it is the human being all the time. It is humanistic, by the way, like all the 3 religions that we are going to confront afterward. At some point, if you attend CVSP 202, the human being is in the middle. The God is addressing us, what have you, but addressed is human being. Human responsibility. I'm not telling stories, I'm just trying to pick up on some basic themes, okay? And now, then we move to a different genre. Now, this is the genre of the epic, now we move to the genre of the tragedy in Greece again, but here we need to think about the idea of the polis. Polis is the city-state. This is a Greek polis over there. I think this is Athens or ما بعرف شو. بس إنه a small city-state. Usually a city-state is somewhere between 30,000 citizens to 300,000 citizens, okay? We call them democratic. Women don't vote, slaves don't vote. 2/3 of the population are women and slaves and children, so who vote? The elite, okay? Men vote. They meet, they decide what to do in their society, and they discuss everything in their society. Where do they meet to discuss? We're going to see. Now, the polis is a community of adult male citizens. All others are not citizens. The polis exists for the sake of good life. You can't live a good life if you're not living in a community, in a civilized community where you have rights, where you think for the good of the community. A human being fulfills his humanity and excellence as an active member of a polis. It's not anymore living widely like a beast. It's not anymore living like in a liminal stage. Not at all. You're living in a community, thinking with the community, and doing the good of the community. So tragedy was built in the... Something missing, بس معلش لا. This is the amphitheater now. The amphitheater, going to hear a beautiful lecture when we come to tragedy by Professor Peter Shbai'a. These are the amphitheaters. The acoustics are very good, by the way. يعني, the actors are there down in the middle, in the center. Sometimes it takes 3,000 people, sometimes it takes 30,000 audience. Wherever you sit, the acoustics are excellent. And in amphitheaters, the community meets and takes votes and what have you, okay? Tragedy. Tragedy are usually parts, we know, the Greeks know of them. They are parts of the epics that we're reading in Homer, okay? We know about the characters, as we're going to see, okay? But we take these characters, and again, it is concentration and going deep inside the worries of these people. Let me read. بعتقد I considered this, I didn't go through it. So we're talking about Sophocles now from the region of Athens, and we're talking about 500 BC, before our common era, okay? Tragedy is a different genre than that of the epic. Homeric epics, Odysseus, that we read before, represents the long-gone heroic age. The gods play an important role in heroic legends, and their divine intervention. The tragedy, in contrast, is the genre of the polis, as I said, the city-state. Tragedies used to be performed in a yearly festival in Athens for the whole people during the great Dionysia, god Dionysius, the god of tragedy, and other things, wine, first at the marketplace and afterwards in the theater that you are seeing now. Tragedy unfolds through slow action and is imbued with emotions and feelings. However, the characters do not have in tragedy the supposed nature that they have in real life. Tragedy is bigger than life. Concentration, okay, of moments were liminal moments. These are liminal moments, ambiguous moments, okay? Perhaps tragedy is one of the very liminal forms that we are talking about, okay? About great ideas, great emotions, great confrontations, and about taking a stand, not to be indifferent. We're going to see a tragic hero is not indifferent. This is what makes him tragic. To make a decision, a moral decision. Moral in the sense that it has to do with the relationship to the community, to the polis, and to the gods. We're not going to see the gods anymore. Shway, here and there, okay? We see Apollo or whatever, we have a soothsayer, or we have someone representing the other realm. But the decision should be taken by the human being and take responsibility of that, even if it means death or exile or blindness for that matter, okay? So we're going to be confronted to read, believe me, fascinating texts that are still very relevant to our lives. I still have 5 minutes. I won't read everything, you know. As I said, I'm just introducing you to some forms. Tragedy. Tragic action and human contentment and goodness. Tragic hero in a misfortune and at grips with his destiny. Destiny in Greek is Moira. You're going to see this word. أنا ما بعرف يوناني. يعني جلط عليكم إذا بدكم بعرفوا. Okay, these are some words that we learn and we repeat like papagayi. But it's not to know the Moira or whatever. It's to know what is the meaning when we say destiny. Not destiny in the sense of Jewish, Christian, and Islamic. Not destiny in the sense that, you know, القدر as we talk about it now. إنه إيه والله صار انفجار قدر، في زبالة قدر. جابوا لنا فلان رئيس جمهورية قدر، شو بدنا نعمل؟ لا, not at all. Okay? Destiny is a lot within a universe that is built systematically, if you want, okay? A good person could fall short of full goodness under circumstances that are not in his control. This is tragic here. I'm in a situation which is tragic, bigger than life, bigger than me, bigger than myself. I need to take a position, I need to make a judgment, okay? But I fall short of the goodness. because all the circumstances around me, okay, are not helping me. Perhaps. The importance of the tragic, not that the hero ended up blinded and in exile. The importance is for me as a receiver, as reader, to stop and think, reflect. Let me talk about myself as a human being today and as a human being in any moment of time and life. Excellence and standing up to challenges, this is the tragic, and the ambiguity is the liminal. Now here we have the Sphinx. We're going to read about it. But here, two phases of tragic plays, by the way. This is Oedipus, Rex. You're going to see, as you, perhaps many of you will go to theater today. We have very good theaters. Well, not very good, we have fine theaters in Lebanon, by the way. And it's an experience, but it's a happening to go to theater. With my girlfriend or without. It is a happening. With my friends, with my family sometimes. Sometimes I take my children to the theater, okay? But I make it a point, whenever I have the chance to travel, anywhere in the world, I go to theater. For sometimes you hear, you see, you watch the same performance of the same play now and again. Each time it's played differently. You're going to read one of the plays. This play is repeated, okay, and is being played 2,500 years now, okay? This is one of the performances. Those who are playing the play, okay, the ممثلين, the actors, sorry, طلعت مع الكلمة الثانية. The actors, they put masks. لأنه they are representing an idea and a situation. The actor is not I, Maher Jarrar. If you see me now acting, you think, this is the problem of Maher. To make it a universal problem as well, we have the mask. Okay? So here we have the actors with the mask. They're wearing like us, modern. There we have Oedipus when he was blinding himself. And this is more when the god asks, the community actually, not the gods. Athens says, you do this crime, you should be exiled or death. Okay? He went beyond and he blinded himself. He felt the pains of killing his own father and marrying his own mother and having 4 children with his own mother. Unknowingly. Unknowingly. This is the tragic about it. Okay? And then we move, خلاص راح نخلص معلش, just very quickly. Now we move the final part is philosophic. It's again Greece, and it's Greece in the same time as we're doing the tragic, okay? Philosophers, Plato is thinking, what is the meaning of justice? In the individual and in the community. What makes me good? We said tragedy represents the polis, and the polis is good life. You can't have a good life as a human being. You can't live your humanity outside the polis. So how to build the just polis? Yani if today I want to re-change Lebanon, all of us are going into demonstrations now against all what has been happening in Lebanon for the last 20 years. And against an opposition to all this political elite, okay? And we want to build a new society. How to build a new society? Plato tells us how to build a new society. You need to do change within yourself as an individual and within the community. Hand in hand, okay? So justice, according to him, means harmony. To be harmonious within yourself and within the other people in the community. So the whole exercise, by the way, where people are sitting together and discussing, it starts like this. They finished, by the way, they attended a play in Athens, and they were going to the Corniche, down to the Corniche, and one of them tells them, what is justice, by the way? Justice, let's go have a drink and discuss justice. So they go to have a coffee, by the way, and they discuss what justice is and is not. So we are hearing a dialogue. The first one says this, the second one says this. By the way, one of them is Socrates, and he's the teacher. He's a philosopher who never wrote down any word, but he trained his students to discuss serious matters. What is love is another thing. What is sexuality? All these things were discussed. In the book we are reading, the idea is what is justice. So justice in the city is the condition in which each part of a thing performs the task to which it is, in a sense, naturally suited. We're going to see natural division of labor. You can only do one thing. You can't do three things at a time, like our politicians. إنه والله مين بصلح لي الجارور؟ أنا بعرف صلح جارور. وخرب السيارة مصلح ولو يا زلمة أنا بصلح سيارة. We do everything here in Lebanon, okay? لا, you can't build a state like this. To build a state, you need to have one job, be responsible for what you're doing, and do it with integrity and be moral about it. Okay? مش على بالو, يعني we do everything, okay? So it's very interesting to read. And this philosophy. Philosophy is as easy as we're talking about a dialogue now. And Socrates, the teacher, every now and then says, what do you mean exactly with what you're saying? So the rule of Socrates is we say, I started the lecture saying that we help you instructors as midwives. Socrates is a midwife. Socrates plays the role of a gadfly. هاي الدبان اللي بتيجي على الحصان. I'll speak English now. These thoroughbred horses that can't move anymore, okay? Comes the fly and buzz, okay? So you move. It makes you move. It makes you think. Now, this is what we're doing at university. This is what we do in CBSP. Yalla, I'll shut up. Wish you all the best of luck. And prepare yourself for other lectures and for the sessions. Should you need anything, questions, you have my email down there, and please don't hesitate.